Greetings. Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Jacobson, a board certified psychiatrist. Uh, yeah, you know, it's not your fault the way you are today. It's not your fault. You were raised by dysfunctional parents who didn't really know what they were doing, didn't really know how to raise kids, didn't really know how to, you know, uh, be truly empathetic and to how to repair empathic breaks, how to avoid guilting and shaming their children, how to avoid being abusive and bullying to their children. Uh, we don't. We have parents who do the best they can. Usually, they do what was done to them. They think that's normal, or that's all they know about raising kids is what was done to them. And so, well, yeah, the dysfunction continues. The dysfunction gets inherited from one generation to the next, and so to a large degree, it's the way we are and behave as adults is not our fault. It's the nature nurture thing. Nature is genetics. Nurture is the environment that you are raised in, that you grow up in. So do you immediately get it dealt a hand that you had nothing to do with, so to speak. You get dealt a genetic hand, which may make you more vulnerable to depression, anxiety, anger, irritability, personality disorders of various types, bipolar, schizophrenia, what have you. So you got a genetic component that makes you behave the way you are behaving now as an adult, and you have the environmental component. If many people, when they're growing up, that despite the best efforts of their parents, end up having issues with self-esteem, low self-esteem, a lack of self-confidence. They have a sense of fear about the world being a safe place, a lot of anxiety about the world, anxiety about the future. Um, Depression and fear about their ability to deal effectively in the future. So the abandonment issues, abandonment fears, all of these things make us what we are today. So we've got the genetics, and then we've got the environment. And so when we come out of our childhood and adolescence and we are adults, uh, most of us are walking around with one emotional hand tied behind our back, so to speak. We're not playing with a full emotional deck, and so it's not our fault. This is what happened to us. We didn't have any say in it, okay? But here it is. But it is your fault. It is our fault. Yes, it's true. We entered adulthood with one hand tied behind our back with certain deficits and emotional disabilities and, if you will, dysregulations, if you will. Uh, but as a child, as an adolescent, we didn't have the insight or the tools, the ability to understand what was happening to us, and what we were doing. But now we do. Now, as adults, we have the potential to have the insight into how we got this way, how the ways we're treating others is dysfunctional, and we're adults now. We have a choice, despite what has happened to us, despite how our genetics, despite how we were raised and treated and victimized and abused, what have you. Today, we are an adult. At this moment, in this present moment, right now, we have a choice not to be a victim. We have a choice not to victimize others. In this moment, right now, we are healed. We are whole. If we take action, if we make the right choices now. So when people say, well, why did you do that? You say, well, I can't help it. That's who I am. Uh, not true. You can help it. And that's not who you are, it's who you've chosen to be, who you have habitually chosen to be. You can choose to be somebody else, something else, to behave in a different way. You can make better choices. To fall back on the default mode of lack of responsibility, by saying, well, really, it's not my fault, it's just who I am, blaming other people is no good. It doesn't work. It's disingenuous. It's not honest. The honest thing is, yeah, I need to get better at this. That this is how I'm behaving, but it's not who I am. That's not my essence. I want this to be my essence. I want this behavior to be my essence. I want this behavior to be my truth. I want this new behavior to be my authenticity. So, yeah, it's not your fault that you ended up however you ended up. However, it is your fault because today you're an adult. Today you have choices. Today you can use your common sense and your insight, your wisdom, your tools to do the right thing, to be a role model for others, a role model of right action, a role model of compassion, acceptance, forgiveness. There's so much healing to be done on the planet, and it must start with each of us. It must start with each of us making a commitment to to stop the rage, to stop the insanity, to be level-headed, to be fair, to be honest, to be compassionate, loving, accepting, forgiving, generous, charitable, be of service to others. Okay. Hope that helps. See you next time.